What is going on, everyone? I know it's been a minute, but today we have a little update video on the Civic. I sold the stock seats that come with these. As you can see, the seats are missing in here. I sold those about 2 weeks ago, so those are gone. Therefore, and I sold those seats is because I had some seats for this car specifically. I just didn't want to put them in just yet, just because I wanted to, clean it up a bit. Potentially either redo the tint on this. I'm still on the fence about that. If I should redo the tint or just remove the tint that it has on and just rock the fishbowl look. I believe with these cars, sometimes they can pull that off, the fishbowl look. The specific chassis, especially with me putting in these seats that I'll mention in a minute. I'll probably show you guys. So I think what I'm gonna do, regardless if I do keep the tint, I want to retint it and get a darker tint, because right now, if you guys see, it doesn't have anything on the front. It has on the rear, but it's very light. You can kind of still see through it. I don't know if on camera you can, but in person you can definitely see through it. And right now it's in the garage and it's shaded, so you can't really tell. But the rear, there's the rear, you can see the interior. So if I were to rock the tint look, I would most likely I would go darker for sure. I just don't know if I want to tint the car or just leave it. Like I said, I don't really drive this car, so there's not really much of a necessity for me to have it tinted. And when I do drive it, it's not, very long. And this car is 100% stock motor-wise, so AC, everything is in there, everything works. So in case I do need to, I can just always, just turn on the AC and then drive it wherever I need to drive it. This car's coming along. I would like to get the interior done, then move out to the exterior. And I'm still on the fence as far as like performance. Like, do I, if I'm keeping the stock motor, building that, etc., or do I drop something else in there? I have been thinking about a K swap would be very nice in this car. The only thing I'm not too fond of is the modification that goes into that. You're gonna have to cut up the car, switch up a lot of things. And it's a pretty, for overall, it's a decent car. It's pretty clean, no rust, no accidents. So it's pretty straight. I think if I were to go K, most likely my ideal situation would be finding like a EG shell or even a EK shell and putting a K swap into that. This one is just a little too clean for me to really do that. I think I would like to, if anything, build a motor, but just keep everything as it is, keep it stock. As far as like, stock motor, not stock motor, but, like build this motor that it has in it now in this chassis. And then maybe even potentially, maybe boosting it. I'm not sure yet. I guess, just enjoy it is for the time that I do have it. But enough of that. Today I'm going to try to put on the seats, install the seats. However, I did run into a little issue here. So with this car, I had the stock seats in it. Well, I guess it'll make more sense if I show you what kind of seats they are. So there you have it, guys. I did go with the red Recaros. These usually come in the Integra ITRs or the CTRs. Like I believe it's an EK9 stock. So they're pretty clean. I did get them towards the end of COVID, so they did cost a pretty penny. Nowadays, these like I said, these parts are super expensive from what they were, years ago. But I believe that the red is a good contrast with the black, as it does have some, you know, like the SI badge, couple red accents, and you can kind of see the paintwork right there, all those crow's feet. From far away you can't really tell, but once you come up close you can definitely notice it. But these are the seats. They're in pretty good condition, just need to be cleaned up a bit. So that's what I was going in. I was actually supposed to do this yesterday, but I ran into a little issue. I'll show you guys right now. Doing some research, and obviously the original, the OEM rails aren't going to fit on those seats. So I was trying to look for a seat rail that would be compatible with that seat and with this chassis, and I wasn't having much luck. So instead of kind of playing the guessing game and, you know, buying things and not sure if it's gonna work, I decided to go for just the OEM stuff. Just buy the you know, the EK9 rails, and it's a direct bolt-on. It's direct bolt-on, seats to chassis, and call it a day, right? So unfortunately, I did buy what I thought were those EK9 rails, but turns out that they sold me the wrong part, and I got these on eBay. So that was kind of my fault there for not really doing, you know, researching and making sure. So I believe these rails are actually the Integra rails, which they'll fit, but one of the bolts, which is this driver side rear, the one closest to the glove box on the rear side, does not line up. All the other three do. The passenger seat works. It all line up perfectly, except for that driver's seat. So that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure it's the Integra rails instead of the Civic, which was what I ordered. According to the description, that's what it was. But I mean, I guess you can't really trust stuff like that, especially when it's shipped to you. So now I'm kind of stuck with that. Like I mentioned previously, I don't really drive this vehicle that much. So I think what I'm gonna do for now is go ahead and mount those rails to the seats, throw the seats in here, because I already sold the stock seats. So I have no way to, I mean, I can move the car, but it's just a little more uncomfortable. That way, if I throw the seats in here, I know I'm gonna be missing one bolt, but it's not like I drive this car anyway. In the meantime, I'm gonna either go with another set of rails completely, like I don't know, Recaro rails or Bride rails, or if I can find even the original CTR rails. If any of you guys have any that are looking to sell, let me know. Definitely let me know. But in the meantime, I believe that's what I'm gonna do. I also have that K-Tune shifter right there in the red, so I think that'll kind of complement the seats as well. And then along with the cluster has some red, so I believe, you know, it'll kind of tie it in. But we'll see. I'll throw them in here. We'll see how it looks, see how I like it. And that's the thing about, you know, projects like this, that you can just, you know, kind of, it's like a kind of learn as you go. You know, you throw some parts in there. If it works, it works. If not, then you just adjust it. And that's part of the game. The rest of the interior is pretty clean. I was thinking about keeping the front seats just in case, but I just don't really have storage area right now or where to keep them. And the same problem I was having with these, they were in storage, and I was kind of in the back of my head, just like scared that it might get ruined or trashed or, you know, just damaged in storage. So I was like, I'll just sell the stock ones and just throw them in there. That's where they're going anyway. I was just holding off on finishing the interior, like the window tint, removing that, just to make it easier, but it is what it is. It's going in now, and then I guess it was a good thing because now I figured out that these rails aren't going to work for me. So now I got that to look into. But yeah, guys, these seats are going in. I've been wanting these seats for a while. I know they have these. They have them in red, and there's different colors. They have like a darker color, I believe black or like a dark grayish, but they're pretty hard to come by. And I just in general, I just wanted these. Wanted to try the red out. Gives it a good contrast, stands out a little bit more. But I'm gonna go ahead and test fit the rails. I'm not sure if I'm gonna record it. I'll probably just go ahead and time. If I do, probably time lapse it. If not, I'll pick this back up when I have them in the car. I'm back with another video. I was unable to finish last time around with the seats, but as you guys can tell, they are finally in the car. And it was a long process getting these seats in the car. However, after all that, I mean, the seats look really good. They feel real good. Definitely, you can tell the difference between the OEM seat compared to these. Let me go ahead and show you a little close-up. And like I said, it took a while because I got everything separate. I got the seat separate, the rails separate, and on top of that, I needed to get the bolts for the seat rails to go into the seat. So that took some time. That was quite a bit of a hassle. And that one that I wasn't sure what bolts they were or where to get them from. So I had to do some research, and finally I was able to source those, and here they are, guys. I know it's a little dark in here. Hopefully you guys can see, but it came out really good. You know, kind of ties in with the shift knob, the K-Tune shift knob. But yeah, I think they look really good in here. The black and the red contrast looks good. I feel like it's getting there. The whole, you know, the car as a whole it's getting there. Definitely not where I want it to be. It still needs a lot, but we're definitely getting there. As far as interior, I'd like to get a double din installed in here. Just because I prefer that compared to the one that it has now. It's just like a little single din. It's a little bit older. Working on it when I have time here and there. But yeah, guys, I mean, there it is. It's coming along. I just did the steering wheel not too long ago. It's leather. Between the steering wheel and the seats, probably the best mod that I've done to just like any car in general, because you can definitely feel it. It makes the car feel different, and it's just a better driving experience. So definitely those two parts were definitely worth it. The shift knob, I got the K-Tune shift knob with the assembly. That one's I've noticed that I do have some issues. I need to either adjust it some more. Hopefully you guys can see better. But I find this piece right here, it hits on the plate. It's hitting the plate when I shift sometimes. Not all the time, but I'm not really sure what it is, but sometimes it hits on the plate. So I gotta either lift the shift, like this whole column lifted up, which you can adjust it, which is what I'm gonna have to do. That way it doesn't hit. But just little adjustments. Other than that, it's pretty much, you know, getting there. As far as exterior goes, the paint is the thing that's really bothering me. Just when I look at the car from afar, like I mentioned before, you can't really tell, but I mean, it does bother me, especially when you're washing it and you just look at the front. It's probably the worst part is the front end. The bumper and the hood is really, really an eyesore. The seats are finally in. Really like those. I've been wanting those for a while. We can finally check the seats off the list. Those are done. If anybody's doing this or is in the market for these, and you happen to buy them without the rails, make sure you get the proper rails, which are the EK9 rails, the Civic Type R rails, instead of the Integra Type R rails, because the Integra Type R rails will not fit in this chassis. They will not fit the EK or EM1 chassis. I believe they will fit the EG, which is, I believe it's 92 through 95, but it will not fit the EK or EM1 chassis. Just an FYI there. The bolts that I got, I just went to the dealer and I was able to get those bolts through them. It was just much easier than going to the hardware store. And like I said, I didn't have the bolts to begin with, so I didn't have anything to compare with. So I just went to the dealer, did some research, and here's a part number. If any of you guys are looking for it, right there, you guys can screenshot it or write it down, pause the video. But that's a part number for the bolts that go on the rail to the seat. So that'll pretty much bolt the seat to the rails, and then obviously the rails go onto the car, and you have different bolts for that. But other than that, once you have everything, the rails, the bolts, it's a very straightforward installation. It's just 4 bolts. You gotta, if you got your stock ones, obviously, remove those, pull the teats out, put these in, and then hopefully you have the right rails, and everything will just bolt up like OEM. They slide back and forth, so they got the sliders on there, so that's good. They definitely feel more like cushiony. You feel like they hug you more. Definitely a much better seat, 100% difference compared to the OEM EM1 seats. Definitely recommend this mod for anybody that's thinking about doing it. And I mean, those seats are getting harder to find. And so yeah, guys, there you have it. The seats are finally in. Finally was able to get those in, take care of that. But that's gonna do it for this video. But make sure you stay tuned, because later this week I will be pulling out the STI. It's been under those covers for a long time, and it's been a while since it's been started. It has a dead battery, so I got to go to the store, pick a new battery up. I'll be dropping that in later this week. So I'll definitely be getting a cold start video on that car. It's been, like I said, it's been a while since it started. And definitely getting some driving footage of it, hopefully this weekend, because it definitely needs to be out and get the fluids running. I need to replace all the fluids on this one. I haven't done so since I bought this car. It's kind of been just chilling here, and I definitely do want to get it, cycling, and just start driving it a little bit more, since I really haven't gotten around to it. But after I get that battery in there, hopefully we'll be creating more videos with this car as well. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.